Mr. Speaker, sir, at the outset, I thank the honorable members for the constructive suggestions they have made in the course of the debate. I shall now reply to some of the points raised by them. First of all, with reference to the small surplus on the revenue side, the leader of the opposition said that I had done this by decreasing the expenditure. I do not know whether there is any other method of balancing a budget. So far as I know, we can do it only by adjusting the expenditure to the income, and this is the only way in which we can do it. But I have to point out that we have still to meet our capital expenditure, and for this purpose, we require the assistance of the center. As far as revenue expenditure is concerned, we cannot go on having deficits year after year. As honorable members are aware, for the last 3 years, we are having deficits and it is necessary to balance our budget. That is why I have tried to balance at least the revenue budget. In this connection, I am glad to say that the Finance Commission has gone into the question of the revenue expenditure on account of the developmental expenditure of the states. So it has made some revenue resources available to the states. There was money which was available to the center. Now it has been allocated to the states by the Finance Commission. To that extent, I will be able to cut the assistance which we have to give under the plan. If this is done, we will gain to some extent by the recommendations of the Finance Commission. When I come to the taxation measures which I have proposed in my budget speech, the first is with reference to court fees. It is really unfortunate that even those who are not members of the House say that the court fee should not have been increased. As far as this criticism is concerned, I am sorry that a wrong view has been taken of the proposal. I am sure the members who are lawyers will realize the anomalies which exist in the present Court Fees Act. We want to remove these anomalies, and in that way, we will also be able to get some money. It is not as if we want to make the poor people suffer on account of this. Then, with regard to the tobacco tax, it has been said that we are taxing the luxury of the poor man and that it should not be taxed. Now, I was really surprised to see a speech made by a person connected with trade and commerce to the effect that a government which had been adopting the policy of prohibition should not levy a tax on tobacco. It seems to me that he thinks that the excise revenue we will be getting by selling toddy comes from people who are not poor. I am not able to appreciate the stand taken by him. Apart from that, it is not as if we are going to tax BDs and raw tobacco. We do not want to do it. As a matter of fact, a costly staff is required for the purpose of controlling small petty shops. We want to tax only cigarettes and cigars which are produced by the rich. So, honorable members need not think that we are going to tax the poor. As a matter of fact, we had taken note of this long before the point was made on the floor of this house, and we are examining the question of taxing cigarettes. That is under examination, and as soon as it is over, we will be able to place the measure before this house even during this session so that we may be able to get this income by taxing cigars and cigarettes also. So in this respect, I am sure honorable members will be happy. Many points have been made by members with reference to their constituencies. It is not possible to deal with them here. At the same time, I may assure the House that we have instructed the various departments to take note of the points made by the honorable members and place them for final orders before us. If any points are made with reference to any matter which has been raised on the floor of the House, I am sure that whatever is possible will be done.